Good evening, I'm Bill Daniels. I'm the principal at Atascocita. They're talking about, the bond right now puts forth for 10 classrooms at Atascocita. Right now at Atascocita we have over 3,600 students. We have 16 portable classrooms. We are floating 16 teachers, which means they don't have rooms. They go from one period they go to one room, next period they go to a different room, next period they go to a different room, next period they go to a different room. So we could use more portables. We also float, it says 2, but we're actually floating 3 lab teachers, which means they're trying to go from one lab to another to try to teach science classes, which doesn't work very well. So, in addition, we do not have a place for our wrestling team. We don't have a place for the dance team has a dance room, but you can't put the dance team in that dance room. It's not possible to do. Now that is about the new gym. But what I'm going to talk about is the new classrooms. For the space they have, without using up parking lot space, they've got a place where they can put 10 to 12 classrooms is all. 10 to 12 classrooms will not take away the portables. It will not get rid of the floating teachers. I've also got 4 teachers teaching in areas that are not meant to be classrooms. The team meeting room out there in the locker rooms is not meant to be a classroom, but it is a classroom. The PAC, our auditorium, is not meant to be a classroom. Some of our big LGIs are not meant to be classrooms, but we have to use them. So the 10 permanent buildings would help a lot with that. What I would like to see with those 10 buildings, I'd love to see more. I don't think that's going to happen. We just don't have space, without using up parking lot space, would be to have some labs out there so we actually could teach some science classes without having to float into science rooms. Because that, if you're trying to set up labs and then having to take them down by the end of the period, set up a different lab in there, somebody's with a cart coming in, different science classes, it doesn't work well. I was a science teacher, I'll tell you that now. Floating into a science room is never a good thing. And having to go, if you've seen our building, some of them have to go from one side of the building to the other, and that's not always the best thing either. So if there is 10 classrooms, that's great. I'll take the 10 classrooms, but it would be great to have at least 4 laboratories so we don't run out of 4 to 6 labs, so that we don't run into the situation where they're having to float into labs. Okay? We've got other problems too with the crowding, but we can deal with those. If you have the lab classes, we can add portables. We're going to get portables next year and actually put an assistant principal and a counselor out in the portables. We're going to have an office for them. We're going to have an outside bathroom for the kids that are out there, so that they don't have to move back and forth within the building just to use the bathroom. That can be managed to a certain extent. Okay? There's still some problems with weather every once in a while, with them going out there underneath, trying to get out there underneath the canopies and getting wet. But that's something can be managed. But the laboratory is very difficult. Very difficult to have good science classes without laboratories. Questions from me? Because mine is pretty easy. We basically have a sack that'll hold 50 pounds of seed, and we have 52 pounds of seed in it right now.
If you're looking for 10 classes, does that meet your current needs? How does that handle growth?
Portables would handle growth. You'd have to have more portables. That will not get rid of the portables.
Right.
And it will not get rid of all the floating teachers.
Right.
But you'd have to put more portables in for growth. We are getting close to leveling out. And let me tell you why I say that. The area that we serve is pretty much built. And our 900 to 1,000 freshmen has stayed constant the last few years. Which means we're not going from a graduating class of 700 to an incoming class of 900. This year we're going to graduate a little over 800. We'll have an incoming class of 900. But 2019, the graduating class is about 900. So that means it starts leveling out. You don't get as much. Now we do have a waiting list to get in. People trying to get in, but that's for one reason or another, and we just don't allow transfers. Other questions?
With the zoning, with the new middle school being built in the Groves, I don't know if the zoning has been determined yet, whether those kids will go to Atascocita to Summer Creek. Is that been determined as far as will you get kids from there? Will the boundaries change?
I think a boundary discussion is something that'll happen in the future. Honestly, if you want my opinion, what's going to happen? Anytime you have a lot of building being done, if you change boundaries all at once, then when all the building gets done, you have to change them again. Most of the time, it's better to wait till it's built and then see where the population is and then adjust the boundaries. So there may be a little fluctuation here and there. It's my understanding the Groves is a dual feeder. Most of them probably go to Summer Creek, but the ones from Eagle Springs are going to us. Okay, that is my understanding. It's a dual feeder. Any other questions for me? Mine is pretty simple. We need rooms.
Where exactly on the campus are these 10 rooms going?
Probably going to go right over there by the Gold House, which is the east side of the campus, opposite of your room.
Right. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I think that's where they will put them, is connected to that. It is in the proposal, though. It does show a map and shows where it goes, where they're going to put it. It does show
Are the
that.
portables going to go where the current portables are now?
The current portables will stay there, and then they may add some more.
And is that going to cause any parking issues? Probably not, because we're leveling out.
Well, there's still plenty of room to park in gold.
Right.
There's still plenty of room to park in red. There's still some room in blue, but not a lot.
Right.
So it shouldn't.
Okay.
It'll take some parking places, yes.
Well, yeah.
Is it gonna make it where nobody can park? No. There's still plenty of open spots. Okay. But what I don't want you to think is, if the bond gets passed, the portables are gone.